So let's start looking at the UI for this. It's not too hard. To do a UI, what we want is a kind of a little panel in the corner, in the bottom left corner, which contains um, some text telling us information about the currently selected entity, like telling us things like its name, its speed, its desired speed, its heading, its desired heading. Let's just go with those 5 things first. So to create a UI, all UI elements reside inside a canvas. As soon as you create a canvas, you also create an event system so that UI calls can be made when events occur on the UI. The most ubiquitous part of a UI and a kind of a container element, a container widget, is a panel. And you can see as soon as I got the panel, all a panel is a container of other things. It has a color, so you can kind of change things, shade things. And it has an transparency. So this is completely transparent. And this is completely opaque, and you can get various levels of transparency in between. So I'm going to go with completely transparent panel because I'm going to make this a panel in which all other UI elements reside. I don't like black, so let's make you all white. Okay, and transparent. Okay. Inside this panel, I'm going to call this the top level panel. Okay. Inside this panel, I'm going to make another panel. And now I can see where it is. You can see it here much better, right? So this is what I'm looking at, right? If I change this, you'll see things change, right? So what I want is to put this new panel, which is inside the old panel, in here. So I'm gonna go to this, and then I'm gonna grab these ends and just put it down here. So what size should this panel be? Well, before I size it, I want to say put it at the bottom left of its container panel. And that will make it go to the bottom left of the container panel. And I'll say, shift the position, the pivot to that. So all numbers are with respect to this location. So the width and height that you see here are with respect to this location. And I got that by changing the pivot, by pressing shift. Okay. So I think I'd like it to be 200. And the height should be enough for 5 rows of things. So 5 rows because I have entity name, speed, desired speed, heading, desired heading. Each row can be 20. Should we make it 20 or 10? If you make each row 20, 20 times 5 is 100. If each row is 40, then it's 200. Well, let's make it really small and at the bottom left. All right. Maybe not that small. Maybe I want it slightly bigger. Let's make it like 30 each. 30 times 5, 150. How's that? All right, that looks a little bit better. All right, and maybe I need it to be a little bit, what? No, I don't want it to take up too much space here. So we'll just leave it there. And we'll leave it this color for now because I don't want to, I want to know where it is and I want to see it visually. So we'll call this the entity info panel. All right. Now, what I want is a row of elements that contains a label, and a value. So in order to create this, I'm going to do a layout. So I'm going to say grid layout, right? So I'm going to say I want a grid layout. And each cell is 100 by 100. No, it's 100 by, what did we say? It was 30, yeah. And how many rows? Do we have number of rows? No, that's it. Flexible. Fixed column count. We'll say 2. There we go. So there'll be 2 columns, and each element is going to be 100 by 30. So what are we going to create? We're going to create text elements. All right. There it is. We need 6 text elements. Oh, geez, this is kind of slow. So let's just duplicate, 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 and we're done. How many elements is that? 1, 2, 3, 9 elements? Oh, 0 through 9. That's 10 elements. Perfect. Okay. So you can see what I mean when I change this to entity name. Or let's just say entity. And actually what I want to do is make it right aligned. Let's get closer to you so we can see you. Right aligned. And let's make your font a little bit bigger. How big can I make it? Well, let's have you centered. Okay, that's better. Let's do that. And if I do best fit, if it gets really big, then I don't have enough control. There's all kinds of issues, so I won't do that. I'll just say 20. Everyone 20. Oh no, we want you to be, yeah, on the right. And then we'll make you here. It's in the middle approximately, so it should be good, I think. All right. And it's right aligned. Okay. Anything else? You don't have to be a raycast target because I'm not going to be clicking on you. All right. I don't want to fill these things out with all this information, so I want to delete them all. Okay. Instead, I'm going to go this way. Okay. Now I've got the font size for everyone correctly. This one is going to be, in fact, all these. And that's pressing the Shift key while selecting it. So if you look at it, it's this entire column that's been selected. I want them all to be left aligned. So I'm going to say align to the left. All right. And I guess the same font spacing. That's an okay color for you to have for now. Dark, nice dark color. And okay, we are in good shape now. Okay. Of course, you shouldn't be entity, so I'm going to say you got nothing there. All right. And we're doing well. So what should this be? This should be the entity's name. We'll just give it a default value just so we know what it is. This should be, and this should be speed. Right? Ooh, not sped. Speed. All right. This should be, and you can see what I'm aiming at, desired speed. Okay, it's not showing up. It's here, but it's not showing up because the font size is too small. If I were to click on this, you could see it gets really small. Clearly, it's wrong. Well, we'll just leave it like that for now. This is heading. Okay, and of course the next one is desired heading. Desired heading, too big. So we'll just say best fit. Okay, it's even smaller font, all right? If you really want, I would have put all of these about the same size. But this is fine for now. And then these values we need to fill in while the entity is running. To do that, what we're going to do, well, first let's rename this, right? We could just call it text, but let's call it entity label text, so we know what it is. This is speed text, right? This is desired speed text. I'm labeling it with the type of element it is because sometimes it's easy to get confused and not know what it is. Heading text. Is it a panel? Is it the actual text box that you've got? You need to know. And then the last one is desired heading text. Okay. We'll label these later. For now, at least now I know that this is the right side of the entity label. This is the right side of the speed text label and things like that. Okay, now how do we change this every time we do selection or something like that? So what we're going to do is we are going to create a little UI manager. And in that UI manager is the code to manage this stuff. And call it UI manager, which will be some code, a new script. We'll call it UI manager script. And what do we want it to do? Since the UI manager, we have to make sure that it is accessible everywhere. Public static UI manager inst awake inst equals this. All right. And what we want it to do is we want it to ask the selection manager and see who's been selected. We want to basically get the selected entity and then get information from the currently selected entity, which the selection manager has, and then set this information. Right? What do we want to set the speed? Okay, so what we need is access to the text component. So text, no, I don't want text alignment. Okay, I see what the problem is. I need to include or use Unity engine .ui. Okay, I do that. Now I have access to text components. And this is speed. We'll just call it speed T. No, let's just give it the whole name, speed text. Text. Desired speed text. Text. Heading. Text. Text. Desired heading text. Okay, so then we need to go back here, and these all need to be public, otherwise I won't be able to do the assignment in the Unity editor. Okay, they're all public. I go to this, UI manager should, when it finishes compiling, it should have that. What I want to do is move this. Oh, I forgot my entity label. So speed text, that's going to change. Desired speed text, that's going to change. Heading text, that's where I'm going to find. And this is the, I should actually call this label. Entity label, I should just call it entity label, because then that makes it easy to distinguish between the label. I know it's of type text because labels are always type text. So desired speed label and heading label and desired heading label. So what I've got is label text, label text, label text pairs. Okay. There seems to be a problem with this thing sticking out on this side as well. We'll fix it in a little bit. All right. So now, if I go to the UI manager, I've got all these. What I don't have is the entity label. So let me go back to the code and say public text entity label. And it should be entity label, right? No, entity text. All right. Go back here. And this is the entity text that I'll be changing every time selection changes, right? So change that, go back here, and what do I want to do? Basically what I want is every time selection happens, I want to, every time I click on something, I want things to change, right? Well, the other thing is simply, I'll just say, like entity text. And that is actually this object. And it's got a lot of things if you notice, right? This particular thing that we want to change is also called text. This particular method, not method, variable. So I'm going to say entity text dot text equals selection manager dot inst dot selected entity dot name. It's not selected entity. Yes, selected entity dot name. All right. I'm gonna kind of do this way because it's much faster. What is this? This is speed. No, it's not speed. It's speed text dot text equal selected entity dot speed dot toString, and we'll give you a format, and we'll say F1 plus the string KTS to mean not, right? F1 basically means one space after. So desired speed dot text, right? Desired speed text dot text. I don't know what I did there. Oh, I must have pressed something multiple times. Not speed, but desired speed. And we'll give it the same kind of a thing. Then I think what I want is not speed, but heading text dot text. And this has to be not that, but degrees, right? Okay, and then now I need to change the thing. So it's desired heading text.text, and this should be desired heading. And this should be degrees. I think dig sounds better. Okay. So it's doing this every update. It's just setting these things so that when I'm running, uh-oh. Oh, right. I need to do this. Okay. So that when I'm running, I have information about the currently running entity. When I select it, it changes, and I can start, and you can see what the desired heading and desired speed and things like that are. Right? This makes it real useful. And you saw how easy it was to do stuff like that, right? So if I go really high up and go back higher, okay, then I can start moving things around. You can see stuff changing. Okay, I put currently selected entity, and you can see stuff like that happening. Don't crash, don't crash. Oh no, 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 no. Turn away, turn away, turn away. Okay, there we go. And then I can do things like this, and I can see what's going on from here. I can go back to my original position. If I select this, I should be able to see stuff. Maybe I should move the camera rig a little bit because I can't see past it very well. And if I select you, I can, let's see, if I select you, uh-oh. Okay, so there's a problem. I apparently didn't do something, so let's check it out. Where are my movable entities? Movable entities, movable entities, there we go. What's wrong with you, Tugboat? Have I not told you where, oh, I haven't set this, so common thing that happens, right? So camera rig needs to be assigned. Okay, now I should be able to do stuff much better. Yeah. Oh, it's not assigned to the right spot. Okay, get back. Where should my camera rig be for you? Oh, you're down there, so let's make you big. Right, so where are you, my camera rig? There you are. So let's move you here to the back and up. And this time, we'll just move you up so that you know where we are. And we also screwed up the camera rig for this because we couldn't see anything once we moved it. So let's move it even higher, right? Even higher, so we can actually see past this whole thing and maybe a little bit ahead, so it's not too bad. All right, let's see what you look like now when I hit Control S to save and play. All right, let's see. Okay, much better. I can see what's going on. I'm gonna go up. Okay, so now if I move you, nice. I can see what's happening. Okay, and this guy can go much faster. Go, and then I can, okay, now I can see better from this guy. Okay, go back, select, I could use tab selection, right? Yeah, still turn around. I want to see how to, okay, this is not too bad. Maybe I should be higher. Let's put this guy as well. And then let's go back. That's selected. And if I do that, here we go. Okay. So that's the end of that tutorial. So you should be able to do good UIs by doing this. Buttons are just approximately as easy to use, and we'll talk about them at some later point in time. And then there's all kinds of other things that you can do, and you'll find lots of UI tutorials on the web. All right,